All right, hey everyone, Jammer here from Jammer's Wrestling Magazine Collection. And when I was going through these magazines yesterday looking for the advertisements for the Coliseum videos, I found a Coliseum video advertisement that I didn't show off, and it's this one here, Piledriver, the music video. And that did exist. You could buy it on VHS, and you could watch the music videos of the songs that were off that album. I remember downloading it and watching it, and it was what it was. It was definitely the music videos, but nothing that needed to really be owned in my collection as without it being just downloaded. I didn't care to actually buy the actual VHS of that, but I do own the cassette tape of that Piledriver. The wrestling album too. And of course, this screams 80s, a cassette tape. I mean, everyone had cassette tapes in the 80s. This is kind of neat to have. This is the only cassette tape for a wrestling tape I have. I had to rebuy this one. I actually owned it when I was a kid, and I owned the first one too, the wrestling album on cassette tape. Of course, I lost them, or they got borrowed, or I threw them out, whatever. It doesn't matter. All I know is I no longer have them. Had to rebuy that one. Had to rebuy that one. And I thought that was the coolest thing I would ever own when it came to that album. But then this happened. There it is, the actual vinyl record, Piledriver, the wrestling album 2. It plays perfectly fine. I've already played it many times. I played it many times for my girlfriend, and she got sick and tired of it. When I first got this, she tolerates my wrestling obsession. She likes it a bit, but I don't think she likes it enough to continuously want to listen to a vinyl record of wrestling music. Because I own that, I went out and got this as well, the wrestling album. Again, this looks really cool. It's one of these fold-out style for the vinyl record, and I just thought that was pretty badass to own both of those. It's just a cool little a side piece to the wrestling collection, and of course my vinyl record collection, because my girlfriend and I have a little bit of a hobby collecting vinyl records. We have well over 300 vinyl records out there combined. I guess wrestling magazines is like my hardcore passion, but vinyl records is a close second, no doubt. I love buying them. I love listening to music. I'll play music and have wrestling on in the background on mute, right? It's just fun to do. So yeah, I have these 3 old music I don't know what you want, collectibles, I guess you'd call it, from the 80s that the WWF put out. I should get the cassette tape again of the wrestling album, and they did actually release the wrestling album on CD. I think it was like sometime in the 2006 maybe. I'm not really too sure exactly when, but I know it did come out as well on CD. And speaking of CD, since we're talking about music here, the first ever wrestling CD I ever owned was this, WWF Full Metal, the album. I bought it at a Walmart. Actually, a buddy of mine, and it's kind of name dropping, buddy of mine named Jer, who you may know him as Showtime Eric Young in Impact Wrestling. I grew up with him. That's not a lie. That's a true story. He lived behind me. We would go to Chatham, which is a town near us where we lived, and we would rent wrestling tapes, and we'd hit Walmart and buy things that were wrestling related. I'd buy the action figures. He'd get T-shirts and such, but this was there, and he found it, and he goes, my name's Bill. He goes, Bill, you got to get this. It's the WWF CD. So I was like, all right, I'll get it. And I bought it, and we listened to it. It was awesome. You had Diesel's music, Shawn Michaels' music, Psycho Sid, Razor Ramon, Bret Hart's. It was just a cool CD. Unfortunately, that's not the original one I owned. The one I owned got wrecked. I had to rebuy that one. But yeah, it's just a cool little story that I wouldn't have found. Found it, but it was Eric Young, who of course I call Jer. He's the one who found it, and we listened to that album a lot because we were so big into wrestling then. He got into it a little more than I did. He actually went out and became a pro wrestler, and I just chose to collect magazines. So yeah, I think he probably made the smarter choice. I think he did a little better off with his life than I did. Also got this one, WWF Volume 2, of course. This has the Sexy Boy song sung by Vince McMahon. So if you haven't heard that, check that out. It's quite the song to listen to. And of course, when I was a teenager, I had to own this, the Music Volume 3. You know, it's the first time you're going to get the D-Generation X song. You got X-Pac song. You got that Sweet New Undertaker song, Gangrel's song. It was just, this is an awesome, very awesome CD to listen to back then when, you know, we were teenagers and in love with the Attitude Era and in love with what was going on at the time. That was an awesome, awesome album. An album I always wanted as you know, a teenager, and never got, because I could never find it, and I own now, is this. The World Wrestling Federation Superstars WrestleMania, the album. This screams new generation, right? This is perfect. This was out in 1993. You know, you had, look at those stars. Those are all new generation. Undertaker, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, the Nasty Boys, Big Boss Man, Randy Savage, Bret Hart, and Tatanka. Featuring the Summer Slam Jam and WrestleMania on there. So that is very, and of course it has that sweet Macho Man song. Macho Man says, dig it. Like, that's just, who would have thought that Macho Man would go on to actually own a rap album, which actually came out on vinyl this past year on Record Store Day, but I have not picked it up. I would love to own it in my collection just because I think it'd be just awesome. Because it wasn't actually, the album was actually decent. I didn't mind it. I did hear it like years ago. I downloaded it and listened to it. But plus, it's just Randy Savage. It would just be cool to own. Other albums I picked up for reasons just because I really like was this one here, WWF Aggression. I remember when I got, this isn't my, again, these are not any of my original copies. All my CDs got either thrown out or wrecked or borrowed or taken back in the day. And I had to rebuy these. And I remember my mom actually picked this up for me at Walmart and brought it home. And I was like so thrilled about it. And I that was the first time I got to hear, you know, in full the DX theme song by Run DMC called The Kings. That's a killer song. The Gangrel song, I Won't Stop, is awesome. And I also enjoyed Kane's song on here, the Big Red Machine by the East Siders, who I believe were with Snoop Dogg or something at one time. But yeah, that was another favorite album of mine. And of course, this one here, when it came out in 2002, WWF Forcible Entry. This was an awesome album. This is the Canadian version because it has Finger 11 with Slow Chemical on it, Kane's theme. I believe the American version of this album did not have that song. And Finger 11, of course, I believe they are a Canadian band, so that could be why we got the extra song on this. Again, really cool album. Drowning Pool did Triple H's song, which sounded awesome on here. You get a special Creed song called Young Grow Old, which is just for this album. And of course, Chris Benoit's theme song by Our Lady Peace, Whatever, was an amazing song, which unfortunately we'll never hear again because of what happened with Benoit. And last but not least, I picked up this one, WWE Originals. This came out in 2004. This has John Cena's theme song on there, Basic Thugonomics. And it has other songs that the wrestler sang. The Dudley Boys, We've Had Enough, is a really, really cool song, actually. And Lillian Garcia's You Just Don't Know Me at All is actually a really good song, too, as well as Jericho's Don't You Wish You Were Me. That's a killer tune as well on this album. So, yeah, you know, I'll put this here, screw it. I don't have many music albums. This is it. I probably will one day buy more of them, but I just thought I'd show this off as well to show my other passion being music and the vinyl records, of course. A huge just a huge accomplishment to have in my collection, because I never thought I'd own the vinyl records of those 2 albums. And it's just cool to look back at some of these songs on these albums and be like, yeah, these were really cool theme songs, a really cool time in wrestling. It was just fun. And yeah, I know I said I love the new generation the most, but man, give me anything from the day Hogan won the title off the Iron Sheik all the way to the day that, it's probably to the day that Chris Benoit did that horrific incident. Wrestling kind of changed after that. I was a huge Benoit fan, and I just never, I don't know, just, everything kind of changed after that, right? Even in wrestling, just things were taken differently, and maybe for the better, probably, because they're, watching the head blows with chairs and everything. But you go back to that Attitude Era, and you have chair shots galore in ECW and WWF and WCW. It was just a different time, fun time, just a fun time to be a wrestling fan. And I think this here represents it nicely. And yeah, I think I'll collect. I want to get volume 4 of the WWF CDs still. I'd like to get that one. And that's where I'll probably stop. Maybe the anthology CD. I might get that one. That's a pretty solid one too. That might stop. Those might be the last 2 I get. And of course, trying to get the CD of the wrestling album and the cassette tape of it too, to finish that. But yeah, so it's a short little video today just on this. Thought it'd be something different, kind of break away from the wrestling magazine stuff. I'm gonna get back into that in the next video. I got some ideas again. It takes time and effort to go through them all and find the covers or find the stories I want to talk about in the video I'm doing. So it can take a moment or two. But yeah, so here we go. This is the music edition. And again, give me some comments here. Tell me what your favorite theme song was for a wrestler. Did you like the DX theme song? Were you a fan of, the Hitman's theme song? Or did you like Hulkamania with I'm a Real American? Like, what was your favorite theme music to hear back in the day when you watched all this great action? All right. Again, thanks for everyone who subscribed lately and commented and liked and all that. I appreciate it. And until I do another video, I will talk to you guys later.